This is Chronos Before the Ashes. This is on Xbox Series X. Now, I don't know if it's necessarily inheriting anything too particularly special, since I don't see any notes. I do know that it has auto HDR support, and that actually does make it look a little bit nicer. It's a very sort of clean looking game, I guess you could say, in regards to what you're doing in it. So what this is basically there's Remnant from Ashes, and that one is basically, oh geez, basically this shooter Dark Souls-esque title, whereas this one is a fantasy-based prequel to that entry in the series. And I think this is actually kind of fascinating because it used to be this VR type of experience, and they've kind of, I guess you could say, ported it over to, the console platform so we can take a look at it. So that means it's a little bit more simple than what one might expect when they're looking at this type of game. So it's very straightforward. It's very Souls-esque. You're going about, you're rolling, you're using a stamina system. But what's neat about it is as you play, and sometimes the loading's a little bit long even on the Series X, it's weird, but as you play and as you die, your character ages. So you have to deal with this sort of shifting idea where you're becoming more powerful over time, but you're also losing your youth, and therefore you're not as strong as you once were, which can be a bit of a pain. So one thing that I noticed that's a little bit frustrating in this one is the fact that when you die, or I guess if you particularly leave an area, you have to refight the enemies that were already present in that room, and I find that a little bit annoying. I don't like when they do that in games. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, it just kind of drives me crazy having to refight certain enemies. There is a light element of puzzle solving in this one too, in regards to moving through the rooms and handling things. Now there is also a level system. Oh, we got a splinter, that's nice. So we kind of go here, you can see this character is level 5, they're age 20, so a couple deaths. And then you get attribute points that you can spend on improving your character. So like your strength, and I guess vitality would be a good option. You can confirm that. Then there are different weapons you get as you find stuff, and shards for upgrade points, and then you get certain traits as you kind of age. And I guess I can also show off the options, just in case people are curious about those. And as you can see, there's not really like visual choices that are present within the game. Although maybe I will linger on the actual input options so that you could see stuff like this, kind of get an idea of, again, like, it's not the most complex thing, and you can get hints from the menu too. And I'm not saying not complex in a bad way. It's just like it's not the most complex sort of situation in regards to what you're doing. Your goals are pretty straightforward. It does have some pretty enchanting moments, and it opens up with a neat sense of mystery, but I can also see how maybe some people might get sort of lost while they're going through this. I'm going to just walk by that scary, terrifying thing and look at myself in the mirror and ponder what I am doing with my life before having to, I assume, battle this thing. Maybe we don't have to battle it. Maybe we could be friends. Who knows? Anyways, before I had to momentarily pause there in order to do a sneeze, yeah, it's just kind of a neat sort of experience. It's definitely something a little bit different, and again, leaning into the Souls element. It's not like the longest game, there's not a ton of, I guess you could say, chapters to it, and the levels aren't too long. Oh wow, he just stepped on me, so you're going to get to see death in action here. Wow, that is really disheartening. And then there's also these cool crystals that sort of allow you to travel between points, and I think that's kind of neat. But yeah, it's not going to be the longest sort of thing you've played, is what I'm really trying to get across. It might take a lot of time based on the quantity of deaths that you deal with, so that's going to be a thing as well. Just you know, understand that element of play, and of course the respawn system. It's just kind of hard to talk about because the story is I guess you're basically out here to like kill a dragon and stuff, and it's weird that this is a part of, I guess you could say, the Remnant from Ashes series, and that it's actually a series, because I had no idea that there were more parts to it. And I kind of looked at it because I'm not a huge fan of the Souls genre, quite honestly. You know, it's just not the type of games I like where they try to kill you over and over again. But that doesn't mean I'm not quite, you know, fascinated by these types of games and what they offer in terms of content. Oh, jeez. Okay, yeah, that's... Oh, just as I open it. So you gotta be quick on that one. It's not a very nice guardian, needless to say. But that is the thing of it. You're playing and you're dying. And you're growing older and you're having to be, you know, smarter about things. Because now we're a little bit older. And we're a little bit more scuffed up. There's not really character customization either. You just kind of get your character and you deal with it. But yeah, I don't like that one's an insta-kill. And you gotta watch some characters too, because they sort of, I don't know how you would describe it, they can really pin you in a cycle of not allowing you to hit them back. So keep that in mind for some of the creatures. And of course, always being cautious of your attacks and how long it takes for you to attack things and what you have to do to deal with them. And that guy was a good farming point for that sort of thing. So you actually gotta be somewhat quick here if you do want to actually survive. Okay, it's open now. We're all good. We just walk by. Hello there, giant monster thingy. Goodbye. Whoa. And then you also like end up getting these like, I guess you could say gift type things. Like there was a tree and it basically gave me this like extra little ability, extra little power, which is a little bit fun. But I hope you're really getting an idea of what the game is, and if you want to like jump into it and enjoy it. It's just kind of an easygoing, well, not easygoing, but sort of a smaller Souls-like experience. Oh jeez, this thing is going to just absolutely kill me. With very simplistic style that actually translates over from the whole, oh jeez, from the Dark Souls style, or from VR over to a regular gameplay experience fairly well. I was actually, you know, kind of impressed by what they were able to do there and transferring the game over, because it wasn't something that I necessarily thought. Like, it's hard to do VR to a regular sort of game like this, and I think they did a fairly nice job of it. Oh, and there's like little lore things you can kind of figure out and find along the way that you might see off the beaten path if you look into certain buildings. So that's totally up to you if you want to head over there and see what that has to offer. But yeah, I think it's a pretty straightforward game. I don't think it's something that you would really do multiple times. I don't think it'll really be something that's too impossible to do, and it's just really if you want to sit there and like battle through what this has to offer. It's a very okay sort of game is what I'm trying to get across. A very decent play through it, move on with my life sort of thing, and that's really the gist of what it is. And that's not necessarily a negative thing. Like, different people need different types of games, and I think this hits the mark for that. You gotta be careful going by enemies too, because they might like come to get you later on. They'll like come up from behind. You won't have anything to be able to do anything. But yeah, it's a neat title. I think it offers some interesting gameplay. Yeah, I know about the shards. I've used them. I've used the shards to make my sword better. So yeah, that's basically the gist of what this one has to offer and the gameplay style that is present within it. I feel like we're gonna have to do some sort of chain thing. The disappointing part of this one is that we don't necessarily have a lot of like pickup things to find, because I wanted to show those off more so that you would understand how that system works. Can we open this door now? But yeah, that's also neat, is that at times you can like open up places, not here, but you can open up past places that you've been in order to sort of like backtrack through them. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this look at Chronos Before the Ashes and got an idea of how it's playing and how it's running and the gist of the experience in general, because it does actually have like a pretty cool vibe and an interesting style of play to it, that's for sure.